Hey YTHPC, it's Rooster.
And it's Taylor.
Taylor, what have we got on today's table?
Well, I'll tell you what it's not. It's not a hippopotamus. It's also not a shark. And it's also not a lion.
Oh.
But what is under here is our game for today. And that is, if I can do this, mystery box. But before we jump into that, I think, can we talk about this box for a second?
I think we're gonna call it dumpster chic.
Thrift shop chic. I call this, I'm just going for a C in art.
I call this, I didn't call her back.
You know what I call this? I call this mystery box. That's what I call this. And the game we're playing today is mystery box. And so how this game is gonna work is that inside this box is going to be placed a bunch of lovely items that Rooster and I won't be able to see. And we'll have to try to figure out what they are. And we don't know what they are. We don't know what they are.
I have no idea. Wasn't there for the buying, wasn't there for the making sure it's appropriate.
I literally have no clue. My roommate, shout out Hannah Sue, bought all the items that we are going to
touch? Guess?
I don't know. Let's just do it. Let's just do it.
Let's get into it.
We have Oliver, who is delivering the first mystery item that is going in the box. Rooster's eyes are closed. Just stick your hand in there.
Okay.
And figure it out. We're trying to figure out what it is.
Ooh. Ooh, what is that? Ooh. What is that?
Can you make a guess?
What is that? What is that? Oh, what is this? What is this? Is it a pineapple?
It is not a pineapple.
Oh, it's an artichoke.
Okay, yes, and what else?
There's more?
Yeah.
Can I smell it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Artichokes and hot dogs?
No.
Is this cheese?
What kind?
There's... I'm not gonna try it. Did I get it? Did I get it? Artichoke and cheese?
I'll give it to him.
Okay.
Should we give it to him? I think we should give it to him.
Oh.
And mozzarella balls.
And mozzarella.
Yeah.
Okay. Bring on the next one.
Did I just get to go for it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
No, I don't like it.
You gotta reach
No, I don't like the way it feels.
What is it though? What is it?
This is a mushroom.
What type of mushroom?
A big one?
I mean, it is a big one.
Palm-sized mushroom.
It's a portobello.
I really hate mushrooms, which we all know from the cereal thing I did with Phil.
I personally like mushrooms. I will put them on a pizza along with green peppers and pepperoni.
What's your favorite pizza topping? Let us know. Mine's pineapple.
Oh, what?
I know that might be a little
And
controversial.
she doesn't like mushrooms?
I don't. Ooh, I hate them.
It's good for you.
All right, Rooster, Oliver's coming in with item number 3. Close your eyes, keep them close, keep them close.
Close.
All right. How are you not scared to just put your hand in there?
I don't have a good answer for that. Okay, I'm going in.
You really
oh my gosh. Oh my god. There's too many things here. There is more than one thing here. It's two things that aren't supposed to go together. The smell.
Yeah.
What? That's strong. What?
Okay, what's the strong smell if it's so strong?
It's potato salad.
And?
Cheetos?
Yeah!
Oh my gosh, come on. Alrighty, Oliver, ready for our next item. Bring her on in. Ooh. I think it's probably the best one we've had so far.
Great.
Yeah.
I feel like I smell something.
I mean, there could be a scent to it.
I feel like I smell teriyaki, which I feel like I'm on a roll here, but I don't like teriyaki.
It's something with something else.
What in the?
I'll
Is
give
this
you a hint.
raisins? Raisins?
It's sort of like that, where it's dried in the sun.
Ew, no, it's not worms.
It's not worms.
Is it cranberries?
It's not cranberries.
Oh, is this sun-dried tomatoes?
It's sun-dried tomatoes, yeah.
Oh, is that it? Really? I also don't like tomatoes.
I love tomatoes.
I hate tomatoes. Okay, Rooster, are you ready for your final item?
I'm ready for my last one.
All right. Oliver's coming in with it.
Sleeves up for this one.
That might be a good idea.
I'm gonna really get in there.
Love the presentation. You can't see it, but it's very lovely.
Let's take a moment to appreciate before I demolish it.
Yeah.
Oh! What was that? What is this?
I don't know, maybe keep...
What is... There's more?
Yeah.
What is this?
I don't know.
Oh! What is this?
What do you think it is?
I have no idea what this is. Is this dog food?
No.
Is this dog toys and dog food?
Yes, it is a dog toy.
And dog food.
It's not dog
and
food.
cat food?
It's not cat food. That is a human food.
This is a
Yeah. Do you want a hint?
Yeah.
You can't eat it.
I can't eat it, but you said it's human food.
Yeah.
Oh, it's cheese.
I guess Hannah Sue's a really big cheese gal.
Is it brie?
No.
I don't know a lot of textures of cheese because I can't eat it.
That's fair. You would find it in lasagna. Do you want me to tell you?
I gave up. I already opened my eyes.
Okay. It's what kind of cheese is that again? Ricotta?
Oh, it's ricotta.
Ricotta cheese.
I like this little guy a lot though.
He did make a sound, but not after we cut him in half. We filled him with cheese.
Last item here.
Oh no, I'm nervous.
Eat up. Okay, arguably might be the best items tonight. Yeah, you gotta really get up in there.
Oh, I feel that this plate is heavy.
Yeah.
This plate is heavy. I'm not interested. Don't push it towards me. Ew! What is that? Ew! What is on my hands? Okay, I gotta smell it. Ew. Is that? Ew. Is that horseradish in there? Or Worcestershire sauce?
I mean, I honestly don't know.
Is this sweet and sour sauce?
You gotta try it.
Oh, no. Is this steak sauce?
It's not steak sauce.
Do I really have to try this?
I mean, you don't have to try it, but you know.
Oh God, it smells so spicy.
It's more than just the sauce. It's more than just the sauce.
Okay. Oh, it's shrimp and cocktail sauce.
It's shrimp and cocktail sauce.
That's why it smells like horseradish. I felt the shrimp and I immediately knew I was taken back to, you guys, I love shrimp and cocktail sauce. Oh, raw shrimp. This is really gross.
Can you eat raw shrimp? I know you can eat other raw fish. Let us know in the comments down below.
You definitely can't eat raw shrimp. Woo! Well, honestly, that was more scary than I thought it was gonna be.
On my first one, reaching in, I'm not gonna lie, I was scared.
Yeah.
I was scared. I didn't want to reach in there.
I feel like you were scared the whole time. Like, I know you're saying just the first time, but you were definitely like, the whole time.
It was...
I will own that I was the whole time.
It's the fright of going in and not knowing.
It's true. This is actually our final Youth PC video of winter 2021. Can you believe that? Literally, we're already at the end of winter.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And so next week, there won't be a Youth PC video, but we will be, oh, that was really nice, thank you. But we will be back for our final big rock of winter on April 7th at 7 p.m. And so that will be a time of fun and games. So please just come celebrate the end of winter with us. We would love to see you there. And now we're actually going to continue in our Seeking God in the Midst of Hardship series. There's actually so much to cover that we're going to continue with this series into spring. And so this week we're really kicking off, what does it look like to seek God in the midst of struggling with our mental health or having hard seasons of that? And so we are going to spend the next several weeks diving into different mental health topics. And so this week I sit down with a couple of my roommates, Hannah, who you know, and McKenna, who if you've been watching our videos since the summer, you've seen. And we talk about anxiety and what does it look like to trust God in the midst of dealing with anxiety. So let's go ahead and get into this week's video. I should have waved too. Hey Rock students, it's Taylor and I am back again this week with two of my roommates here with me today, McKenna and Hannah, and we are entering into the third week on Seeking God in the midst of hardship. One of the things y'all really wanted to talk about was this idea of mental health, and so we're going to spend the next 3 weeks breaking that down. We're going to talk about anxiety, depression, body image, and I'm really excited. Each conversation is going to be sit down conversational like this. Maybe you are someone who resonates deeply with one of these three topics. I'm so excited to dive into these and hopefully you'll feel seen and heard. Or maybe you're someone who is watching this video and you're like, Taylor, I don't battle with anxiety, depression, or body image issues. Great, this is still for you. One of the things that we get to do as Christians is love each other well. That is the second command Jesus gives us after loving God our Father, is to love our neighbor. And so part of loving our neighbor well is understanding the things that they go through and learning how to walk with them through those things and love them well in that. And so today I'm sitting with Hannah and McKenna to talk about anxiety because I don't struggle with anxiety, and this is a really cool opportunity for me to continue to learn how to love them well. I want to first know, what is anxiety like for you, and when did you start to recognize it in your life?
So anxiety, it's kind of funny because I feel like I never had the term for it. Like growing up, at least from my parents, is very much like, you have so much going for you. You're so high energy and fun. Like your life doesn't have any problems. And I think it was hard because logistically I'd look at my life and be like, oh, everything is pretty good. Like it's not that bad. But I would kind of feel this like dissonance in my spirit, and it really hit me in college, the beginning of college. I had a lot of friends growing up. I didn't have a problem meeting people, but then I moved into this new house and got hit with this wave of social anxiety. The way I want to break that down is kind of this like internal observation of everyone around you and feeling like I was silenced by my fear of speaking. So like I would notice people talking with each other and be like, oh, they've talked 5 times and I've only talked once, so that means I'm worse. And I would just get trapped in this like observation of others and feeling lesser than. And so it took me a couple years to figure out how to even interact with people, what safe people were, how to feel confident in spaces and not go to that space in my brain. So that's one version of anxiety that I have felt.
I grew up in a family that ever since I was young, anxiety was a term that we used a lot. Both my parents have it and have really struggled with it in different ways. And then my sister had it, and then I kind of felt like I assumed that language of ways that I was feeling too. For me, it kind of, I feel like I have a bit, it's less situational. It's more just this like general anxiety that feels like, I kind of see it as, those like exponential graphs. Like I will kind of go through periods of time that I'll just be really not anxious. Nothing will set me off. Like I'll have a test and I'll be like, oh, we're fine. But then as we get closer to this like little exponential, it's like everything feels like it's out to get me. And it's just this overwhelming feeling of fear and kind of hopelessness. And then at that point, kind of anything sets me off. And so I call them anxiety attacks. And it's when I'll get really, really emotional and I'll really have to go and take care of myself. And then I'll have it and then I'll feel a lot better afterwards. And so my kind of story with anxiety is kind of dealing with these waves of anxiety that hits me and how can I take care of myself so that I won't have to get to that exponential part. My anxiety gets a lot wrapped up in my thoughts and my expectations for myself and is a lot of just internal pressure of my own self of I feel like I should be doing better but I'm not, and I want to be here but I'm here, or people see me as I'm here but I'm here. And so that's kind of how I experience it, I would say.
Hannah and McKenna, I think you guys can both answer this one, is the idea of, Hannah, you said, figuring out who my safe people are. What does a safe person look like to you in your life?
Ooh, I love that question. And so I think a safe person for me is someone who doesn't try to like fix me or say, well, oh, you can be happy, let's make you happy, because that's what people expected of me. But instead someone who would just sit with me and be like, that's really hard. Like, can you tell me more about that? And like, let me process how I was feeling and just give me a hug or just sit with me in that and let me just be.
And maybe you're someone who is a solutions-based person. Hi, I am also a solutions-based person. And so that means basically a solution-based person is someone who, when you're sitting with a friend and you're like, what's wrong? Like, how are you doing? You start jumping to solutions because you love them, right? You're not doing it because you think that they're wrong or they're bad, but you're like, I don't want to see you hurt anymore. And like, that's something that I kind of naturally do. And I had to learn how to stop, because I used to even do that with Hannah. I'd be like, well, what about this? Let's do this. Let's do this. It became I'm coming up with solutions right now. And I look at her and I go, do we need solutions or do we just need to process?
Yeah. And something kind of with your last question and then your question, I feel like the biggest thing I have felt in understanding my own anxiety or in talking to other people's is someone had told me once how like negative emotions are actually an invitation to experience the Lord. And I think for a long time, I was like, all negative emotions are bad. The Lord doesn't want me to feel this. We're going to cut out everything that could cause me it. But actually, like if I'm sitting down with a friend and Hannah's telling me that she's really anxious about it, of like, I wonder what are you not trusting about the Lord? What are you not, like what is hindering you from seeing that He is good, He is for you, and only wants good things for you, and that this anxiety is not about, it's you focusing on maybe a lie or a fear, and it's not focused on truth. And so I think saying, as you're talking with friends, of like, what's actually at the heart of this? Like, what are you thinking about God that maybe actually isn't the character of God, or thinking about yourself that's not actually like who He made you to be.
I love what you're saying too, of like, God wants all of our emotions. Like, negative emotions aren't bad, but they're an invitation to experience His presence. And like, that just really reminded me of this verse that I feel like I hear often, and like, I'm going to call it Christian culture. I'm going to do it. It's just like this idea of when it comes to anxiety, like I feel like people always talk about Philippians 4, and I'm just going to stick here within 4. It's 4:8. It's finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Like, what an annoying verse in some way. If you're like, if you are dealing with anxiety and you have these thoughts, these negative thoughts that come up, or these like fears and these doubts that come up.
You knew my thoughts when I was anxious.
Yeah.
They are not pure. They are not good. Yeah. They are not true.
Yeah.
But I think seeing it in a different way, when you think about God and you think about things that are good, pure, right? You can't help but not be anxious because you're just surrounded by His goodness and His peace. That I think for me, a big thing that has helped me with anxiety is like earlier in it says, bring your petition, like with prayer and petition and thanksgiving. Like if I am thankful and I'm present to the moment and focused on what good things are happening, what gifts does He have for me, or like even in the moment of a friend consoling me, like how sweet that is, and being able to be thankful to God in that, then I feel like there's no reason for me to be anxious. That I've been kind of thinking about it, that it's not for me, I don't try to not be anxious, but to put myself in situations that basically won't even allow me to be anxious. That if I'm so surrounded by God, I have no fears. I have no insecurities, but much easier said than done because we're human and none of us are going to be in God's, fully focused on God's presence 100% of the time. Like I feel like the biggest thing, like in living with anxiety, is over time you kind of learn those things that even if you're having your worst day, you know that they will put you in God's presence. Like for me, I need to be outside. So like I will be, laying in bed, like I can't do anything, but I'm like, just get up, just go on a bike ride. Just go on a bike ride, just get outside. And then it's crazy how like not even doing anything, but just showing up. Like the Lord is able to work through my anxiety. And I think it's not shaming yourself that I'm having a hard time, but saying like, hey, I am having a hard time, and how can I be kind to myself?
Something that I do, like a way that I go when I feel anxiety of like, okay, I haven't It's coming up. It's going to be there. I really love Jesus Calling is the way that the Lord speaks to me personally. And
Jesus Calling is a Devo.
It's a devotional. It's a book. It's really great. They're super short. And there was a note that I think kind of talks about what we're talking about here. And I want to mention like our why for why we go to the Lord when we're feeling anxious. And it says, instead of trying to fight your fears, concentrate on trusting me. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes I go to the Lord thinking I can fight my fears in that moment with the Lord. And I'm like, okay, God, you're going to combat it. You're going to tell me the truth right now. I'm waiting. Let's go. And a lot of times he doesn't relate to me in that way. But sometimes it just means going to the Lord and saying, I'm feeling really anxious. I don't know what the answers are, but I know you are good. I know you love me. Like, what are the truths you want to wash over me? And just letting myself rest in that moment with the Lord instead of focusing on what's the fear that's freaking me out. Lord, this is the fear. Why aren't you getting rid of the fear? I shift my perspective to, Lord, I trust you. Lord, you're near, and kind of speak those truths over me, exactly what you guys were saying.
Hannah, I like really liked what you were saying of like, it's about shifting your focus. And then McKenna, I liked what you were saying too of like this idea of like, I just gotta get out of bed. And it's like, it's this idea of choosing to do what is harder for, what does Brene Brown say? It takes like 6 seconds of insane courage.
Yeah, exactly.
And like,
you can do anything with 6 seconds of insane courage.
Exactly. And it's like this idea of like, if I just take 6 seconds to go, okay, these may be all the things that feel awful in this moment, but okay, fine, God.
Yeah.
Fine. I'm going to take 6 seconds to remind myself of things that are good about you, even though I don't really like you right now. And it's like, okay, God, you're good, you're noble, you're trustworthy.
And then you're like, oh no.
Yeah, and then you're like, frick.
I can't not think about all these things that are so good.
And it's like, oh no, he is those things, which means if I still see these things that are not complete or finished, oh wait, God brings all good works to completion. That means you're not done. Dang it.
I feel like I react to the Lord in the same way when he does fulfill a prayer, fulfill something for me. I'm like, gosh, dang it, Lord, I knew you were going to do it, but it was harder, but it worked. And then I just, that's funny.
And so I also think too, maybe I'm wrong, but it's like also recalling his past faithfulness can be helpful in moments where it feels really hard.
Big time.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
How has it been for you as a Christian that experiences anxiety to interact with God in those spaces when it often feels like just pray it out or like just give it to him, and like sometimes like you pray about it, you give it to him, and it's still there.
Yep.
What the heck do I do now?
I as well have thoughts that really spiral, and someone told me like the other week how the enemy or the God creates but the enemy distorts, and basically saying how a lot of these thought spirals are me taking a good thing and then just totally twisting it and like taking all these crazy turns and angles and being like, but what if and this happens and then this, and I'm like over here, but it's like this was the original.
Yeah, this is where it started. This is where the anxiety took.
Yeah, and so what I find helpful in that is to kind of go to the Lord, and I just have like this ongoing Word document that's just all these like vents and thoughts, and I just literally just put it all there.
That's so
and then I go to a friend and I'm like, hey, this is what I'm thinking and this is where I'm at. Like, is this actually the truth, or did I just totally distort this? And then they can be like, hey, I know this about you and this is this.
So good.
And kind of help me reel it back in to be, what the actual truth is, what God is saying. I would say my advice is like, anxiety is normal. It's okay to have. It's not a bad thing that the God's like, wow, she was anxious today. She's out. Like, it's something that I think us living in our world is something that we're going to experience. And so how can we accept it? How can we name it? How can we bring other people into it? Is how I have found it helpful, because I also, like you had said earlier, I know this is something that I probably will never, check off the box. I have dealt with anxiety. I think it's going to be an ongoing thing, but it's also a really sweet, ongoing, daily reminder to remind myself of God and to continually put myself in his presence.
And to summarize kind of what you guys said, I feel like what you said is, first and foremost, you need to learn how to go to God with your anxiety. Sit with him. Allow him to take your fears and your doubts and your thoughts and to realign it with his truth and to allow him to speak his truth over you. And then in those moments where that's not working, McKenna, I love what you said that you said is like, God creates what the enemy distorts. It's this idea of, I'm sitting in my thoughts, I've taken a journey. I don't know where I ended up, but I'm not where I started, and I don't like where I've ended. My thoughts are distorted. I need community. I need someone now. Like, I've sat with God. I've allowed his truth to like wash over me, or I've tried to allow his truth to wash over me. It's being distorted by the enemy. I need people in my life who can remind me of his truth and of his goodness and of his word when I'm having a hard time seeing it. And I also need people in my life because they know how to, safe people who can love me well in moments where I'm experiencing an anxiety attack or I'm sitting in like a doubtful place. And third,
I think the third step is just to give yourself grace, honestly. Like, I think the biggest thing is like knowing you're normal if you feel anxious. It's totally fine if you feel anxious, even if it's not how people perceive you. And I think the biggest thing is opening, like for me, it was opening up to people and letting them know what was happening in my heart, because the hardest thing was keeping it so contained inside of me because I felt so ashamed. And once I opened it, I realized, oh my gosh, people actually like me for who I am completely, not just when I'm happy, but also like when I'm anxious. And that's something that the right friends, they're gonna love you fully for everything you're feeling. If you guys want any resources about either how McKenna journals, I journal, ways that we kind of do anxiety, or even from Taylor, ways to be a good friend and listen when friends are feeling anxiety, we can provide those documents and provide ways for you guys to learn further.
Hannah and McKenna are some of the wisest, most Jesus-loving people that I know.
But I just want to let you guys know we're here not just for this talk, but also for you as a person. We live with Taylor, so she can find us literally. So if there is anything that we can do in your journey with anxiety, just let Taylor know.
Hannah and McKenna, thank you so much for this.
Thank you.
I mean, awesome conversation that I think is going to be really fruitful and beneficial for everyone watching, truly. So thank you so much.
Awesome.
Y'all, we'll see you next week. I hope you have a really fruitful conversation on anxiety and how to process it, how to move through it, how to walk with God and trust him in it, and also how to be a good ally and friend to those who walk through anxiety as well. Bye.